Ciao, everyone. We're Natalie and Scotty. Welcome back to Bites of Italy, the podcast where we explore Italy through food, one city at a time.
That's right. And today we're heading to Verona, a city that needs no introduction, known around the world for romance, history, and Shakespeare.
But, as always, we're here to talk about another side of the city, the one you experience at the table. And Verona's food scene is shaped by its location in the Veneto region of northern Italy.
If Veneto sounds familiar, that's because we've already explored its capital, Venice, which we absolutely loved. We actually dedicated 4 full episodes to Venice, and if you haven't listened yet, we highly recommend them. It's a city like no other.
What's fascinating is how different the food cultures are within the same region. In Venice, cuisine is shaped by water, deeply connected to the lagoon, so it's mostly fish and seafood, but here in Verona, the food tells a different story.
Yeah. In Verona, it is a hearty, comforting cuisine, closely tied to the land and countryside.
In this episode, we'll share where to eat in Verona, places that locals love, spots full of character, and dishes that really tell the story of the region.
So, whether you're planning a trip, dreaming about one, or just love discovering Italy through food, grab a seat, pour yourself a glass, and picture this. You are in Verona. You've got the balcony of Romeo and Juliet somewhere in the background.
Probably mobbed with people taking selfies.
Totally. And you're walking past this massive, breathtaking 2,000-year-old Verona arena.
It's worth mentioning that it's still incredibly active. Many concerts are held there. It will even host the closing ceremonies of the Olympic Games.
It's romantic. It's grand. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's everything the travel brochures promised. But here's the problem. You're hungry. And that is where the dream usually, falls apart.
Right. Because you and I both know that right around that magnificent arena, it is a minefield.
Oh, it's the danger zone. The laminated menus with the pictures of food on them. Never a good sign.
And the guy standing outside trying to wave you in.
Yeah, it's the paradox of mass tourism. I call it the view tax. The better the view, the worse the food.
I love that. The view tax. They don't need to cook well because the location does the selling for them.
Exactly. But today we don't want to pay that tax. We're taking you just a few blocks away to find the real deal. 3 family-run places that are the true soul of Veronese cuisine. And we cover the whole spectrum. We start with a historic Michelin-starred restaurant and end with the inexpensive bohemian Osteria, where you can get a glass of wine for €3.
Let's jump in.
Okay, we're off. Let's leave the chaotic area of the arena. After about 5 minutes of walking, we turn onto a small street and suddenly we are at Trattoria al Bersagliere. This place is the perfect example of a hidden gem in plain sight. It feels like a secret, even though it's right in the center.
Yeah, looking at the map, it seems close to the danger zone. But the key here is geography. The restaurant is tucked away in a quiet alley.
Exactly. This restaurant is like a piece of the city's identity, founded in 1927, originally as an inn. The name comes from the regular guests, Italian soldiers called Bersagliere.
I love when places get named after the regulars. It immediately tells you it's a community spot. It feels personal. Do you remember the first thing that hit you when we walked in?
For me, it was the atmosphere. It's eclectic. That's the word for it. You walk in and you've got a vintage jukebox, a gleaming 1960s coffee machine. It's a total mix of eras, and the walls are covered in photos and autographs. I think I spent 10 minutes just looking at them. They were everywhere. But this isn't just random clutter.
Not at all. The dining rooms are themed. There is a singer's room, a sports room, and a piano room. All the rooms feature photos of athletes, musicians, all sorts of celebrities who've passed through the decades.
It's a testament to its longevity. It feels like the walls are talking to you.
Absolutely. But I think the most important voice in the building isn't on the walls. It belongs to Leo Ramponi, who manages the restaurant with his wife, Marina. He runs the dining room, she the kitchen, and Leo is also a sommelier. He led us to the stunning wine cellar, of which he is very proud.
That was incredible. It holds about 200 wines, mostly local. It felt like the foundation of the building was literally built on wine.
Which in Verona is kind of true.
Absolutely. The most interesting thing is that Leo is also a keeper of memory. He wrote a book called Il Gusto della Memoria, The Taste of Memory. He spent 2 years documenting 70 recipes from the past that were slowly disappearing from Verona. Some of the dishes from the book are on the restaurant's menu. So you aren't just eating dinner. You're participating in the preservation of tradition.
Let's get to the food then. What should you eat at Al Bersagliere?
Well, since we're talking about preserving tradition, we have to start with the Stortina Veronese, a small salami weighing less 200 grams, originating from the south of the province. Here, it is served pan-fried with polenta. It is salty, fatty, and crispy, a truly amazing appetizer.
It's listed as a slow food presidium item. For anyone listening who might not be deep in the foodie lexicon, can we break that down?
Sure. Slow Food is a global organization founded in Italy to protect traditional and artisanal products that are at risk of disappearing. When they label something a slow food presidium item, they basically flag it as a protected traditional product.
So it's rare and delicious.
You got it. But the main event is the famous pastisada de caval, a horse meat stew. The meat is marinated and slowly simmered in a sauce with onions, spices, and of course, plenty of local Amarone wine. Served with steaming polenta, it has a deep, dark, intense flavor.
It's Verona's emblematic dish, but to an American or British listener, this might be shocking. Eating horse seems, well, a taboo, or at least a very strange thing to do. Since horse meat dishes will appear in all the restaurants recommended today, we need to pause and address the elephant, or rather, the horse in the room. Why is it so important to Veronese cuisine?
We have to connect this to the bigger picture of history. This isn't just some random preference. The Veneto countryside was for centuries a place of extreme poverty. But it was also a battlefield. Napoleon was here. The Austrians were here. The Italians were fighting for independence here. And when you have 18th and 19th century armies clashing, you have cavalry. Thousands of horses.
I think I see where this is going.
When those horses were killed in battle or just died of exhaustion, the local population who were often starving, and the troops themselves, they didn't have the luxury to waste potential food. They used the meat.
So it was a necessity, it wasn't a choice.
Exactly. What was born out of a desire to survive has become a culinary tradition that has lasted for generations.
If horse meat isn't your thing, Trattoria al Bersagliere offers many other delicious dishes. I really enjoyed the risotto with local Amarone wine. It's a traditional dish with a deep red color, velvety texture, and a complex flavor profile that is both fruity and savory.
I also recommend the Bigoli. We talked in detail about this thick spaghetti-like pasta in one of our Venice episodes. Today I'll just say that their pasta with duck sauce is a world-class dish. And then to round it off, Diplomatico, a dessert made with Pandoro. You know, that tall, star-shaped Christmas cake.
Yeah, you see them in boxes at the grocery store every December.
This is actually a clever nod to the city because Verona is Pandoro's home. And here Leo serves it with caramel. He takes something you think you know and just elevates it into something incredible. It's like a masterclass in Verona culture served on a plate.
It's no wonder this restaurant has received the Bib Gourmand distinction several times, awarded by the Michelin Guide to Restaurants offering excellent cuisine at a moderate price.
Yeah. Trattoria al Bersagliere is a place where you can feel the history, sample Michelin quality, and experience the warmth of a family restaurant. It's also tourist-friendly, offering an English-language menu.
Before we move on to our next stop, we just want to take a quick moment to say thank you for being here. If you're enjoying Bites of Italy and finding our recommendations helpful, it really means a lot to us.
You can support our podcast by subscribing to this YouTube channel. And if you'd like even more food inspiration, behind-the-scenes moments, make sure to follow Bites of Italy on social media. We're on Instagram and Facebook, and you'll find all the links waiting for you in the video description.
It's also the best way to keep up with new episodes, previews, and all the delicious places we discover along the way.
All right, now that we've covered that, let's get back to eating our way through Verona.
We walk from the arena towards the Adige River to the Veronetta district, and the vibe changes here immediately.
How so?
It's a real neighborhood, less polished and touristy, and more lived in. And it's here that we found two excellent restaurants where you can enjoy delicious Veronese cuisine at reasonable prices, away from the hustle and bustle of the city center. The first is Antica Trattoria Pearà, just a 15-minute walk from the arena, right next to the Teatro Romano.
It is a historic restaurant located in a 15th century building. The name Pearà means golden pear, and the origin story is just charming. It was founded in the late 19th century. Apparently, there used to be a stall right outside the door that sold caramelized pears on a stick.
Street food from the 1800s.
Yeah, people would just say, "Meet me at the Golden Pear," and eventually the name migrated to the Trattoria itself. I love that connection to the street life of the past.
Once you step inside, it's cozy with wooden walls and paintings of the province. It feels old because it is old, not because it's been decorated that way.
I'd say it looks like a functional dining room. probably because the restaurant has been run by the same Butti family for 30 years. But let's move on to the food. They have a whole horse meat repertoire, of course.
Yeah, I saw that list. Horse tartare, grilled steak, and the stew we mentioned earlier. But they also have many other regional dishes, like tortelli with red radicchio and Monte Veronese cheese, which is typical of the region.
Also worth trying is the Bigoli con aringa, or Bigoli with herring. Salted herring, onion, oil, parsley. This isn't a delicate pasta. It kind of punches you in the mouth.
In a good way, I hope.
If you like strong flavors, absolutely.
Speaking of fish, it is impossible not to mention the trio. You get octopus sautéed in pea cream, Venetian sarde in saor, and bacala alla vicentina. Particularly interesting in this set is codfish prepared according to a recipe from Vicenza, a city near Verona. This is a very local, slow-cooked, aromatic dish that requires time, patience, and knowledge.
We have another fascinating example of hyper-local cuisine. It's called Pearà sauce, a typical Veronese sauce made of beef marrow, meat broth, breadcrumbs, Parmesan cheese, and plenty of pepper.
The sauce looks almost like a thick, savory porridge or a gravy, right?
Yes, but here's the catch. It's basically an ethnic dish of Verona.
What do you mean by ethnic?
It's eaten in Verona and the surrounding area, perhaps within a 40-kilometer radius. You cannot find this sauce anywhere else in Italy.
That is wild. In a world where you can get sushi in an airport in Kansas, there's a sauce that refuses to travel.
Exactly. It's served with bollito misto. Trattoria Perodoro serves it only on weekends and holidays. We were lucky. It was the ultimate comfort food with rich boiled meat and this peppery marrow sauce. It's the definition of stick-to-your-ribs food.
And for dessert? Do they honor the name of the restaurant?
They do. The house specialty is pear poached in wine with ice cream, a simple yet decadent and elegant dessert.
They also offer a wide selection of fine wines from the Verona area or house wine for only €5 for a half-liter carafe and €10 for 1 liter. The service is friendly and courteous.
So, Trattoria Perodoro is the golden family experience. High quality but reasonable prices. It strikes that balance.
It really does. Plus, you can make reservations online, a small detail but important for tourists.
Now for our third stop, we keep walking deeper into the Veronetta neighborhood, about 20 minutes from the arena, to Osteria da Morandin.
The vibe changes again as we are now just steps away from the University of Verona, and you can tell that from the front door. It is covered in stickers. There are stickers from Hellas Verona Football Club, stickers from Vespa clubs in the province, Jamaican mood stickers inspired by more than just music, and even a sticker with the image of a saint.
It simply signals that this place is for everyone. There's no pretentiousness about it. It's part of the philosophy. Sophia, who currently runs it with her father, Luca, says they serve everyone equally, from the lawyer to the poor.
It's a free zone.
Exactly. It opened in 1937 and is named after the Morandin family who founded it. Again, it's old, but it doesn't feel stuffy. It has that classic bar window at the entrance with little snacks, meatballs, sardines. It is designed for you to just grab a glass of wine and a bite.
But if you do sit down, there's a menu on the blackboard. And for those who don't speak Italian, there's also a handwritten menu in English.
And here's where it gets really interesting. We talked about horse meat, which is also on the menu here. For example, horse steak tartare is very tasty, but their specialty is Bigoli pasta with Musso, which means donkey in the local dialect.
I can imagine our listeners pausing right now. Did they just say donkey? Yes, we did, and we ordered it. So tell us, why is there a donkey on the menu at a traditional Verona restaurant? For some, this might be a culture shock.
Again, it's a similar story, deeply rooted in history. Donkeys were the work engines of the farms. When a donkey couldn't work anymore, it became food. It's a cuisine of resilience. And Osteria da Morandin is the place to try it because the vibe is so unpretentious. You sit next to a student eating pasta with a donkey. It just feels normal.
If donkeys are a step too far, they have seasonal tortelli with fillings that change daily. Pumpkin, broccoli, asparagus, and even local cherries when they're in season.
I was surprised to see tripe on the menu. It turns out it's not just a specialty of Florence and Rome.
It's another classic poor cuisine dish that's become a delicacy. It's stewed with vegetables and herbs. It's nutritious, cheap to make, and delicious if you cook it right. And at Da Morandin, they cook it right.
To finish, tiramisu is a must, as it is an invention of the Veneto region. And maybe a glass of Amarone grappa, aged in oak barrels to wash it all down.
Now, we have to talk about prices. This is our budget pick.
Prices here reflect these humble origins. First courses cost a maximum of €10, second courses around €15, desserts €5, and a glass of wine starts from €3. There's no wine list. Wines available by the glass are simply listed on a blackboard. They come primarily from surrounding regions.
So, Osteria da Morandin is our bohemian budget gem. Authentic, chaotic, friendly, delicious, and cheap. It's the real Verona of the people.
Time to wrap this up. We started with the mission to dodge the tourist traps. We found Trattoria al Bersagliere, the historic restaurant where you can eat a soldier's stew surrounded by opera singers' autographs.
We then went to Trattoria Pearà, which serves meat with a delicious local bone marrow sauce that can only be found in this corner of the world.
And finally, Osteria de Morandin, the budget-friendly time capsule where you eat donkey pasta and drink cheap wine in a free zone.
What stands out to me is that all these places paint a picture of a hearty, no-nonsense culinary culture. Because eating in Verona isn't just about the Roman ruins. It's about the history of the families running these kitchens. It's about survival traditions that turned into culinary art.
Absolutely. The food tells the story of the city better than any guidebook ever could. And that brings us to the end of our time in Verona. If you're planning a visit, we hope this episode helps you eat a little better and explore the city with confidence.
And if you're just traveling with us from home, grazie for joining us at the table.
Next time on Bites of Italy, we head west to Turin, in the Piedmont region, a city known for its elegance, chocolate, historic cafes, and one of Italy's most important food cultures.
We'll be exploring what to eat, where to eat, and why Turin is such a special stop for food lovers.
So, make sure to subscribe, follow along, and join us for the next bite. Ciao!